there is a 50% chance that a microscopic hijacker is living inside your brain right now. And it might be the one deciding what you do today. Think about the last time you made a completely impulsive decision. Maybe you drove a little too fast. Maybe you suddenly got irrationally angry at someone in traffic. Or maybe you took a massive financial risk that you normally wouldn't even consider. You probably brushed it off, right? You just told yourself, oh, I was just feeling spontaneous. But what if I told you that wasn't you? What if that urge, that sudden loss of fear, was actually a chemical command pumped directly into your brain by a parasite? I know how that sounds. It sounds like a cheap sci-fi movie. It sounds like something that happens to ants or spiders in the jungle, not to modern, civilized humans. We drive cars. We build rockets. We don't get mind control. But science is completely rewriting that narrative. Right now, hiding in plain sight, there is an invisible epidemic. It's a quiet invasion. No fever, no coughing, no obvious sickness. Just a slow, silent rewiring of human behavior on a massive scale. To understand how terrifying this really is, we need to leave humans alone for a second and look at a rat. If you put a normal, healthy rat in a maze, and you place a drop of cat urine in the corner, the rat will completely freak out. Millions of years of evolution have hardwired the rat's brain to associate that smell with pure terror. It will freeze, hide, and do everything in its power to stay away. That's survival. But if you take a rat that has been infected with this specific passenger, and you put it in that exact same maze, something unbelievable happens. The rat smells the cat, but instead of running away and walks right towards it, it actively seeks out the predator. Some of these infected rats even become sexually aroused by the scent of the animal that is about to eat them. Why? Because the parasite inside the rat's brain has literally taken scissors to its neural pathways. It manually unplugs the rat's fear center, the amygdala, and plugs it directly into the brain's reward center. The parasite wants the rat to get eaten. In fact, it needs the rat to get eaten. You see, this microscopic hitchhiker has a very complicated life cycle. It can live in almost any warm-blooded animal on Earth. It can live in birds, cows, pigs, and mice. But it can only reproduce, it can only make babies inside the stomach of a feline, a cat. So, if it's stuck inside a rat, it's at a dead end. The only way to complete its mission is to mind control the rat, delete its fear of death, and offer it up as a free meal to the nearest cat. Now, you are probably sitting there thinking, okay, that's wild. But I'm not a rat. My brain is infinitely more complex, and you would be right. But neurochemistry is neurochemistry. Dopamine is dopamine. And your brain, as advanced as it is, runs on the exact same chemical hardware as that rat. For decades, doctors believed that if a human caught this parasite, it was basically harmless. Your immune system would fight it off. The parasite would realize it's trapped, and it would wrap itself up in a tiny, microscopic cyst inside your brain tissue and just go to sleep forever. They called it a latent infection. Harmless. Nothing to worry about. Until an evolutionary biologist named Jaroslav Fleger started noticing something weird about his own behavior. He realized he was doing things that should have terrified him, but he felt absolutely nothing. When crossing busy streets in Prague, he stopped looking both ways. If a car honked and swerved to miss him, he didn't get that sudden rush of adrenaline we all get. He just didn't care. He was completely numb to the concept of his own death. He decided to test himself, and sure enough, his brain was full of these microscopic cysts. He wasn't going crazy. He was infected, and he wondered, how many other people are walking around with a hijacked fear center? He started testing people who had been involved in car crashes. The results were chilling. If you have this parasite in your brain, you are over 2.5 times more likely to be in a severe traffic accident. Your reaction times slow down. Your risk assessment goes out the window. You see the red light. You see the car coming. But that tiny voice in your head that says, hit the brakes, is suddenly very, very quiet. And it gets deeper than just car crashes. This parasite literally alters human personality, and strangely, it affects men and women differently. Studies have shown that infected men become more aggressive, more jealous, and more willing to break the rules. They become prone to sudden bursts of road rage. Infected women, on the other hand, often become more outgoing, more extroverted, but also highly prone to anxiety and self-harm. But perhaps the most mind-blowing side effect is what it does to our ambitions. A recent study looked at thousands of business students and entrepreneurs. They found an overwhelming correlation between people who start their own businesses and people who are infected with this bug. Because what is entrepreneurship? It's taking a massive financial risk. It's quitting a safe job, betting your life savings, and leaping into the unknown. A normal brain is terrified of that. An infected brain? It craves it. The parasite forces your brain to produce extra dopamine. It chemically rewards you for taking risks. Whether that risk is starting a tech company, investing in crypto, or driving your motorcycle at 100 miles an hour down a wet highway. At this point, you have to ask yourself, if millions of people are walking around with this thing, is it changing society? If an entire country has a high infection rate, does that country's economy change because its citizens are naturally more reckless? Do they start more wars? Do they overthrow governments? Are human cultures being secretly nudged by a microscopic puppet master? So, how do you get it? How does it get inside you? Remember the rat. Remember how the parasite's ultimate goal is to end up inside a cat. Well, it turns out, we live with cats. We let them sleep in our beds. We clean their litter boxes. When a cat is infected, it sheds millions of microscopic eggs in its waste. You clean the box. You don't wash your hands perfectly. You touch your face, and it's over. The hijacker is in. But it's not just cat owners. You can get it from eating undercooked steak. You can get it from unwashed vegetables grown in soil where a stray cat happened to walk by 3 months ago. It is everywhere, and once it is inside you, it crosses the blood-brain barrier, a fortress designed to keep out viruses and bacteria. It slips right past the guards, burrows deeply into your neurons, and builds a home. And there is no cure, no antibiotic, no surgery, no magic pill can get it out of your brain once it's settled in. It is with you for life. It has a name. Scientists call it Toxoplasma Gondii, or Toxo for short. Over 40 million people in the United States have Toxoplasma Gondii sitting in their brains right now. Globally, that number is estimated to be over 3 billion, half the human race. We used to think we were completely in control of our own destiny. We believed that every thought we had, every risk we took, every person we loved, was a product of our own free will. But the deeper we look into the microscopic world, the more we realize that we are just biological machines. And sometimes, our code gets rewritten by a passenger we didn't even know we picked up. So, the next time you feel a sudden urge to do something incredibly stupid, dangerous, or completely out of character, stop for a second. Ask yourself a question. Is this really me? Or is it the Toxoplasma talking?